Okay guys, welcome back. So now we're going to talk about contracts, title companies, and how they can make or break your deal. This is module 4. First thing we're going to talk about is dealing with the contract and you just actually knowing it. Okay, when dealing with the front side contract, is multiple ways. You can deal with the front side contract that's going to turn into a double close, and you can be dealing with the front side contract that's going to turn into assignment. Okay, first we're going to talk about the front side and dealing with the assignment. Okay, so understand on that contract, with the original seller that you have direct, make sure that you have everything in writing, fully understand by both parties. And what I'm talking about is close date, title companies, deposit, your purchase price, and the parties involved. If there's any slight nuances, just say for example a lease back, make sure that is up there. How much is the lease back? How long is it for? The deposit amount. Make sure that everybody fully understands that. Okay, there's nothing worse when you get a contract together and you slapping things together as it go. That's not how you should operate. Okay, when you want to transfer that over to assignment of contract, understand that all the rights that you have on that contract, everything that you wrote, is going to transfer over to that assignment. That end buyer that's buying from you, everything you agreed upon with that seller direct, he's taking over for you, from you for your fee. So again, understand that and be very transparent with them. Don't wait till the last day to tell them it's a lease back. Don't wait till the last day to tell them it's a lease back for free. Don't wait till the last day to tell them it's a lease back with no deposit. A lot of times you being transparent, especially with you being new, you should always be transparent, but it's going to help you more when you're new, when dealing with a seasoned investor, because a lot of times they can help you through the process. Okay, and also too is a good chance that they're probably going to ask you to see the original contract, and that's perfectly fine. They need to see the rights of what they're taking over. Give it to them. If you need to, if you feel that you have to redact the information as far as the seller name and the phone number, all the contact information, that's perfectly cool. But make sure that you get that over to them. I know me myself personally, I'm not going to buy a house from off of assignment and I don't see the original contract. So you have to make sure that you get that over to them. Okay. Now the next thing we're going to talk about is doing a double close. There's a little bit more finesse now when you're doing a double close compared to assignment. Just because of the fact that there's going to be multiple parties, going to be more parties involved, and also it may cost you a little bit of money. So it's not like a straight pass-through transaction, but once it closes, you're making 15 grand. So now you're dealing with closing costs, you're possibly dealing with points if you're dealing with the day funder. If it's a transaction you're going to buy and sell the same day, you're going to have to pay for it if you don't have your own money. Okay. Along with that, you may get a set of closing costs charged to you, and you may not get that money back if you don't have an agreement with that end buyer on that backside contract for them to reimburse you. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna break it down to A to B contract and a B to C contract. On the A to B contract, you're gonna act as the buyer from that seller, the same way how you do with the assignment contract. As far as the terms, make sure that everybody fully understand it again. Talking close date, deposit amount, purchase price, any little nuances that may go into special provisions, make sure that you guys are both in agreement and in 100% agreement with that. Okay, so what you're going to do, you're going to take that contract, and now there's a good chance you're going to match and mirror the same exact contract on that B2C contract. The only difference is now you're the actual seller on it. The terms should be pretty much the same, especially if you close on the same date. The purchase price is the only thing that you should be really looking at that's different. Obviously, that's going to be the difference between what you bought it and what you sold it for. The rest of the stuff, as far as the close date, any deposits for the lease back, anything that's staying in the house and not staying in the house, all that stuff should be transferred over to that backside contract. What I like to do on my backside contracts, I put in the special provisions that buyer shall reimburse seller for original front side closing costs. Okay, I like to put that in there. Sometimes you get bulk, you get a little bit of bulk about it as far as from your end buyer. But me personally, if you want the deal, then you're going to pay everything for it, especially if I'm telling you everything up front. So there's no surprises with it. Again, now you're dealing with points too also. So if you don't have your own money, you're probably dealing with the day funder, so they may charge you 1 or 2 points to the purchase price or whatever it is for you to get that transaction done. Okay. Another big thing that you want to understand, that you want to deal with a solid title company that understand how you can actually handle that transactions. And since I'm talking about that, I'm gonna go on and slide into talking about how you find a really good title company. Okay, and it takes some work. It takes some work. You're not going to do it right off the bat. You may do it right off the bat, but there's a good chance you probably not. Okay, find a good a title company that you can actually grow with. That's something. When I got into the game, I found a title company and I found an escrow officer that I knew I could grow with. You want to have a solid closer. You want to find out who the owner is. If it's I recommend using an attorney. Because of the fact that if you're dealing with a title company that's not attorney-based and you're going to have to find an attorney, or they're going to find an attorney, then it's too much. So I just rather find an attorney-based title company that I can use. Talk with them. I will start with that person. Ask them for a couple of minutes of their time. Explain to them what you're trying to do. Hey, I'm doing 1 to 2 deals a month, or brand new. How can you help me out? I'm looking to start wholesaling some deals. Do you guys work with investors? Okay. Do they have any assignment templates? Do you guys have any classes that I can actually take for somebody can go over the contract with me? Who's the escrow officer that I'm gonna be working with? Can I get their contact information now? Call the escrow officer up and build rapport with them. The same exact way how you build rapport with buyers and sellers, build it with title companies, build it with escrow officers, just because of the fact they're handling your files. And if you don't have an open line of communication with them, your deal's gonna fall apart. And that's the worst feeling in the world, when you put in the work originally to get it under contract and find your buyer and it fall apart because of the fact that you don't know how to properly communicate with the title company, or they don't know how to properly communicate with anything to you and everybody else involved. Biggest thing with dealing with the title company, communication. And I mean, that's coming from you as a wholesaler. If you're doing everything that you need to do, then you shouldn't have an issue. But a lot of times when dealing with the wrong title company, they may not be communicating everything thoroughly. They may be calling sellers. They may be getting files mixed up. That's the kind of thing that you want to avoid. Okay, so you want to make sure that you thoroughly, again, let them know what you're doing. Talk with them about how you want to do your business. Let them know what kind of transaction it is on every single transaction. Hey, Miss Closing Agent, this one's an assignment. Hey, Miss Closing Agent, this one's a double close. These are the parties that's involved. The cool thing is, make you a cover page. This is the front side contract. Buyer, seller, close date, purchase price. I know it seems redundant, you talking to a child. Send a separate email. Front side contract, 123 Main Street. Backside contract, same thing. This is the backside contract. Purchase price, close date. And it's being a little bit redundant, but it's saving you from your deal blowing up. I don't care about being redundant for 15, 20, 30 grand. I can say it about 7, 8 times in a row. So you want to make sure that you're able to do that when you're talking with the sellers and buyers and the title company. Okay. Again, super important. Make sure that you understand your title companies. Make sure they understand you and what you're trying to do. Just still knowing that every deal is not going to go smooth. But if you guys keep an open line of communication on both sides, it should be relatively easy. Another thing also when dealing with the title company, you guys want to try to do, talk to them about buyers and sellers, because they have them, especially if it's a investor-friendly title company. They have other investors. Talk with them about it. Ask them like, hey, do you know anybody that would like to buy in this part of town? Or do you have any investors that buy at this price point? It's really cool. And again, let them know what you can do for them. Like, look, if you give me any solid buyers, I'd be happy to close all my deals with you. Anything that I get from that buyer, I make sure to close with you. You want to build rapport. They're not making any money off the wholesale fee other than, with the charges that the title company charge. But is an open line. You're giving them more deals, so it's helping build their business, and at the same time, it's helping you to build yours too also. And the same thing too, talk to them about sellers. They have deals that fall apart, and they get just as mad as anybody else because of the fact of, what if they had to cure it because of the probate, or if there was a bunch of liens on it and the deal fell apart. That means they did all that work for nothing. So definitely step in, talk with them, ask them, hey, do you have any deals that fell apart recently? And it's gonna take a little bit of follow-up, honestly, but it works. And I have bought deals from title companies that, I get a random text or email just saying this deal fell apart because this wholesaler couldn't find a purchase, he couldn't find an end buyer. Get the seller contact information. If it's okay, ask them can I use your name? Can I name drop? Ask them if it's okay to say that, hey, such and such from the title company gave me your contact saying that your deal fell apart. Ask them. And if they say yeah, I'll call immediately. They don't know you. Great, I'm an investor. Such and such title company told me to give you a call because he said your deal fell apart because the guy couldn't close. That'll give you a super, super good amount of leverage just because of the fact of that purchase price was probably too high, because that's a lot of times that's the main reason. So now to give you a chance to be able to go in and dig a little bit deeper and explain to that seller, like, yeah, like your property was under contract for X amount, but you know why it didn't close? Because it's too high. Now you can kind of beat them up and push them down. And the cool thing is, there's no other competition. There's a good chance if she was talking to other investors or other wholesalers, you're probably going to jump everybody else because they haven't had time to call them back yet, or the title company had you call her, or the seller or whatever, and now they feel more comfortable dealing with you because you came as a referral from the title company. use it as your leverage. Use it as your leverage, guys. Like, so open line communication with the title company, communicate, tell them what you're trying to do, know your contracts, don't get burnt. If you don't know your contract, you will get burnt. But as long as you can do these things, you should be rock solid. This is the end of module 4. So I'm gonna give you a couple of caps, just a couple of things to go over once again on it, okay? Understand your contracts. Take your time, look in your area for local title companies that have contract classes. Go to them. And it seems boring, it's like watching dry paint or wet paint, whatever paint you wanna call it. Go do it. It'll save you so much time, it's gonna save you money, it's gonna possibly get you out of lawsuits, and it's also gonna not let your deal fall apart. So don't be afraid to know your contract. It's only a couple pages long. It's not like you're having to read a whole novel. If it's 10 pages or 12 pages, 15 pages, take the time to know the pages as to what's important and what's not, okay? Along with that, communicate with the title company. I can't stress that enough. Make them communicate to you, and you communicate to them too also. Any changes, let them know. Cancel on the contract, let them know. You have to give the seller the contact information to the title company too. Everybody need to be on the same page. Everybody's pulling the same direction, but you're the leader in the transaction. So you got to make sure that everybody's pulling the same direction. It's your job, if somebody's not, to make sure that you get them together and pull in the same direction as you, okay? Know your contracts, know the title company, pick the right title company, shop for more title companies. The more title companies that you can come across, the more leverage you have. And the more deals that you're going to be able to pick up, just again, as I spoke about previously, about deals falling apart. Definitely take the time, build that rapport with the closers, build that rapport with the owners if they're not too busy for you, and you should be able to close a good amount of deals. Look me up on Instagram at MarcusGainer8. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next module.